Hey guys, well, I want to talk today about Edward Snowden, who released some classified information, secret information, to the British and American media, and some of my commentary on this happening as well. So, we heard today a lot on it through NPR and a number of different news sources, and heard from people like James Wilsey, who is a former CIA director, who had to say basically that Edward Snowden had violated the law and violated their trust, certainly, by disclosing this information in the way he did publicly, and that he should be prosecuted and brought to the full extent of the law, basically brought upon his head. And I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think that what he did was that bad, because it shouldn't have been lawful to begin with, the programs that he was disclosing. I believe if we gave those programs judicial review, they would be ruled unconstitutional through violating the Fourth Amendment, essentially. So Edward Snowden worked with this company called Booz Allen Hamilton, and they are a private contractor of the NSA. And basically his position was a technical analyst who had a lot of ability for more oversight because he had a higher clearance. And so he found some information on records basically being given to the NSA through companies as large as Google, Facebook, Verizon, and two separate cases. One for phone records, which is basically just giving out metadata about what that means is basically who you called, all the particulars, but not the actual conversation. And then also more particular information or more detailed information on your online records, so your emails and stuff. They can actually see the particulars of what's happening, the conversations and all that happening in that sense of the media. So obviously I think that the online one's more egregious, but when do we really start deciding to draw a line on what's acceptable and what's not acceptable for giving your private information to a government agency to comb through? Excuse the phone. So I think that the answer is we don't allow any of it, and that even giving of metadata is data that should be considered private and privileged. It's still information about you that they don't have a warrant to search on. So another thing I want to say too is if we don't have some kind of oversight, we don't have somebody blow the whistle eventually, this thing goes unchecked. We need someone basically to bring this up so we can have a discussion, and we can maybe formulate a way to have some judicial review, some process to make sure that things that are unconstitutional, unlawful, don't get put into place secretly through the government, and then maybe monitored by computers. There's no telling what they're going to be able to do in the next couple of years. Then I may not need someone to sit there behind the desk and to comb through information to see if it's suspect or not. They might be able to do that in an automated system, and then we'll have no way of knowing if it's constitutional or not, because it's totally secret and there's no one there to blow a whistle to begin with. So I like in the fact that we're going to talk about it now. I know Obama kind of getting caught red-handed said, hey, let's have a conversation, let's have a what did he use, a debate, since he's so good at debates, I guess, about this. But I think really when it comes down to it, we'll say that, hey, this is a violation of our privacy rights, and that there's got to be a different, more specific way to go about doing this kind of work or combing through it, or at least we need to consent, to having our records searched, and there should be something in it for us if we're going to be giving away our information freely to the NSA to come through. Or some kind of limitations on it, because it sounds like once they get your information, they just have, all your records from as far back as the start of this program, which could be 2006 is I think what I heard today. So that's a lot of data. If you ever get in trouble for something, they basically have access to find something incriminating on you, and they're collecting it right now without you doing anything to garner that kind of attention. So I think it's a problem. Edward Snowden's now in Hong Kong. It sounds like he did that because there's a problem with their asylum law that they have to rewrite, and it gives him a couple more months of time to stay there under asylum and not be extradited to the United States. However, that doesn't stop somebody from snapping him or rendering, what do they call it, rendition, CIA coming in and rendering him to United States again. I'm not sure if I'm using that correctly, so forgive me if I made a mistake there. But essentially, you know, if he does come back and he faces trial, I think you have a lot of support here. You know, I know we've had another case of a whistleblower, Bradley Manning. Many people are on his side and many people are against him, and I'm sure we're going to have the same kind of dynamic in this case with Edward Snowden and his either whistleblowing or Traitors Act, depending on which side of the spectrum you're on. I tend to think myself that it is more of a whistleblowing activity, because I believe that he was right to say that it was a violation of our privacy laws and the Constitution. And I think we do need to look into it more, because like I said, you know, when there's no one behind the computer eventually and they're monitoring this, how are we ever going to know about it? We need to have something in place now, so when we get to that point, we know that there's a process there to safeguard us against violations of our liberty. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about this case, and any interesting comments or insight you might have is certainly welcome. Leave that below in the comment section, and please thumbs up and share it with others if you found this an interesting perspective or a meaningful, valuable addition to the conversation on the NSA's leak of information through Booz Allen Hamilton and Edward Snowden. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to be talking to you again soon. Bye.